This is what we're going to do. Check this out. Alright? We're going to write this dude's name out. And then we're going to talk about this. Alright? You can even Google this. Diocletian. In 303 AD, he put an edit out. Edit. He was a Roman emperor. Sort of like how the Vatican is the Holy Roman Empire. Well, he was that. And we'd read about this because this is about the Bavarian Illuminati. If you Google the Bavarian Illuminati, it was founded on 5-1 by Adam Weishaupt, who was funded by the Vatican, by the Holy Roman Empire. Okay? So, let me read. We've been reading out of this book, so we'll just fast forward. I'm just going to pull something out. It's on page 107 of this New World Order book. Ralph Epperson. He's done a lot of research. He says, the reason that Weishaupt chose the 1st of May to found his secret anti-Christian religion, 5-1, has been satisfactorily explained. However, there are some interesting clues as to why he might have chosen that date. One possible explanation involves the Roman Emperor Diocletian, who reigned from 284 to 305 AD. So, all right. After the death of Jesus, the Christian world continued to be persecuted by a string of violent seizures of the Roman Empire. But the violence inaugurated by Diocletian surpassed them all in violence. So this man right here was the most violent. And after the most violent towards Christians. And it says an edict requiring uniformity of worship was issued in 303 AD, right here. And it says, and the Christians resisted by refusing to pay homage to the image of the emperor. Diocletian met that resistance with specific retaliation against the Christians. They lost their public and private possessions, and their assemblies were prohibited. Their churches were torn down, and their sacred writings were destroyed. Ours have been altered now. Nobody's going to church anymore, hardly. I mean, they are, but they're just there. They're the existers. They're just there. It's just, it's insane. But anyways, and it says, in addition, many Christians paid for their resistance with their lives. It says, it has been estimated that the victims numbered in the hundreds of thousands. Finally, Diocletian grew ill and abdicated on May the 1st, 305. So on May the 1st, 305, he renounced his throne. So this is a crown. He renounced his throne. All right. And it says the persecution persisted, but never again approached that of the Emperor Diocletian until now, until what we're going through. And it says, is it possible that Professor Weishaupt learned about the date of this? If you don't know who Adam Weishaupt is, Google the Illuminati, the Bavarian Adam Weishaupt, and it'll pop up. None of this. But you can get a quick study of who Adam Weishaupt is. And because it's true, they're created to crush Christianity. And they are. And it says, is it possible that Professor Weishaupt learned about the date of this abdication and picked up the mantle laid down by Diocletian and started the persecution of Christians again some 1,400 years later? Because May the 1st, 1776, 59 days prior to the existence, or what is it? Yeah, 59 days after this, the United States of America, same year, 1776. But the whole thing is from that, or from, when was it? This date right here, until 1776, until it's 1,471 years. Okay, the prime of that is 233, which means only 1 in 1,471 can go into itself. It's the 233rd prime. Now we're getting into some magic numbers, because 233 breaks down again into the 51st prime. Goes right back to that shit right there. It's all one. And and then this 47, you can take those ones away, and there's your 47 degrees on your compass for your compass and square, which is masonry. You know, it's really just Saturn. It's another logo. It is. But anyways, and it can be many different things. I'm just throwing stuff out there because there's people that say that, and G for geocentric, flat, G for generative, you know, a lot of stuff. It's 33 too. G is. But anyways, and like tomorrow, I'm going to throw this in right fast. And we get this, I'm going to say this, the 33 comes from this. Because Adam Weishaupt, even in this book and the other literature, it talks about the abolition of the family unit. Destroying the family unit, destroying male and female, and that's everything that we're doing right now. You know, with everything that's going on, they planned that shit, Adam Weishaupt, in 1776 and prior. You know, and it's all this, and this all ties into this shit and to the Roman emperor, which is the Caesar. Because now the Vatican is doing the same shit. And then you got to remember, Jesus was 33. You know, there's this shit, this 33 numerology, take that 0 out. It's everywhere. There was something. But anyways, let me say this. The goal of the Illuminati was man made perfect as God without God. Let me say it again. The goal of the Illuminati was, quote, man made perfect as a God without God, quote, end quote. But it was a strange idea because Weishaupt permitted his followers to utilize any activity to achieve his goal, including lying. He wrote, one must speak sometimes one way and sometimes another, so that with respect to our true line of thinking, we may be impenetrable. You know, and truthfully, nobody can see the importance of May the 1st. You know, May the 1st is a big thing. 5-1's a big thing. Because they say that 5-1 right here, this is the original start date of communism. They can say it's, you know, Marx and all these other people, but it's there. Right there it is, 5-1 of 1776. That goes all the way back to 303 AD, whenever this emperor, you know, made an edict for Christians that they couldn't go worship and all this other shit, and they refused, and then he got ill and then had to renounce his throne in 305. And his persecution of the Christians was heavier and more violent than any others throughout history. You know, and then after this, you've got the Council of Nicaea in 325. You know, and that shit right there is everywhere, hidden. And it's all, and then way on after that, you've got, what is it, 1302, 1307. This is all the unum sanctum shit. Google that. Unum sanctum. You know, and then after that, you're going to have the registrar. So over 2,000 years, and there's a lot of more shit in there. I'm just giving you some of the stuff that I know, or I've researched. I mean, this is in here. It's not a lot of other places because, you know, you're not going to write about, this is a Christian author. The ones that have all this other esoteric hidden literature, they're not going to talk about shit like this. It's some people like us, we've got to, that really want to know what's going on. We have to study this gematria and numerology and certain Hebrew, Greek, some Latin shit, you know, a lot of scripture back again, and a lot of other stuff that's hidden. And it's up to us to pull out of this world and dissect it, because, you know, there's a lot of truth within a lot of this stuff. And it's hidden. It's hidden really well. But in order to find out what's going on, we have to understand that the Vatican, remember, the Vatican is right here. We're in a little cross, which is the Holy Roman Empire, is the Vatican. It's these guys right here. You know, they own the universities. They own everything. They have been ruling the world for a long time. For a long time. Now, it makes sense to me, though, about the 33. And y'all know what I'm talking about. How everything goes into the number 33. And if it goes back to this emperor, you know, creating this edict towards Christians, then I guess this is paying homage in a mystical, magical, black magic way every time that they introduce a fake story or something fake, because it all is, and it's all contrived to kill us and destroy us and divide us, you know, and based off of the astrological, you know, movement of the heavens. They're going to invoke something, and each time they do it off of our ignorance, they gain strength. Satan gains. You know, people talk about stimulating the economy. Listen to me. That's all a weapon. It's not real. The whole thing, the stock market is not fucking real. It's not real. It's not real. To most, you'd be like, hey man, it's crazy. It's not fucking real. It was created by man, wasn't it? Okay, well, it can be controlled by man. Yes, it can. And you have to understand something. Who created money? Well, you got to take that shit way back through history. It goes way back beyond all this. The coins and stuff. It goes back to, what is it? Alexandria, I think, to where the first slot machines 2,000 years ago, probably further than that. But it wasn't like what you're thinking, but people would go up and put coins or whatever was worth value into something, and they'd put their hands out and they would sprinkle holy water on them. So you're paying for holy water, you know, and it all comes down the line, you know, and truthfully, these people know what I have discovered and what's fighting, what I can't control. It's sad though that it's to most people it's stupid, you know. But this is something that it's something that's hard to understand. So any addict or alcoholic is going to have a hard time getting sober, much less reading some of this shit. Most people's educations and IQs that make a lot of money is only one fucking direction. So this is going to make zero sense. They made it. They did this thing in America, in this world. I went to the university. I got my career and I did this for the military and I'm making good money. And it's like, yeah, but you played the role exactly to a T that these fucking people came up with that are from Phoenician. That's what they are, because it's all about commerce. That's what all this is about. Commerce. Because maritime admiralty law has been going on for a long time. You know, in the Vatican, which is the Holy Roman Empire, they're the ones to this day that has allowed that slavery shit to go on, and it still does. It still does. It's the same families that own them teams, dude. It's the same bloodlines. Dude, I have literature I can show you with slaves, and not black, it's just slaves. And see, we're here to where it's like, oh, it's black something. No, listen, dude, throughout history, they have fucking destroyed humanity. They hate human beings. It doesn't matter what color you are. But there's some literature where it talks about slaves, how many calories or how many carbs that their bodies have to have each day, depending on X, Y, or Z job that they're doing. the people foreseeing them and looking at them as making sure that they're, because they got to get shit built, and they're taught this. It's, you're just slaves, or not just called necessarily slaves. They're part of something to where you're taught that when you're that low in the bottom in that society or culture or whatever, village or indigenous shit, when you die, eventually you're going to work your way up the ranks of reincarnation into a king or a prince or something. We have no idea. It's cool once you look at the different cultures and shit, and just study and read on like how shit was, instead of like, no, that's Satan, let's go have an orgy in town and spend this money and give it back to Satan so we can build COVID bigger. It's fucking insane. It's too much for people to see. But it all goes back to the Christians, and it does, because the Jesuits are to destroy Christianity. And now they're in the churches. They're everywhere around here. They're everywhere. And they are. And if you're watching this, you would do the same shit too if you was me. That's me behind this in that hospital bed, in one of y'all's hospitals. Yeah. I've been in a lot of them. I somehow squeezed my ass out through all them cracks amongst all of you fucking professionals that know exactly what I'm talking about right now. You should feel horrible, but you don't. Because I know what it's... I've had somebody tell me in my vision this. Matt, listen, it's like, look, there ain't no sense in fighting this. And it's like, but why? Because we're everywhere. And that's what they said. There's no sense in fighting it because they know that the human being, the job that the weishaupts and the Vatican and the Rockefellers and, the people we don't even know about that control this earth, this whole fucking thing right here. Because when you fast forward to the World War I and II, you've got all these countries going to war with each other. Well, the Jesuits had infiltrated all of those countries, or created some of them by that time. And then they created, the technology in the Industrial Revolution. They created tanks and shit, and then eventually airplanes, and and who the fuck benefits from producing all that production? Well, one person does, or one group. Yeah, and it's the same people who's running shit now. They're selling tanks to all sides. Hell yeah, the more tanks they sell, the more people die. One world domination. They created all the wars. It goes back to this shit right here once again. You can go back through history and just look at each war pop off. You can just go back and look. And Morals and Dogma, Albert Pike talks about that shit. Look that up. Albert Pike rewrote Scottish Rite. Yeah. That shit right there is some heavy stuff. Heavy stuff to be allowed to write some, yeah. It's like, but then again to him, when you've got Earth, which is not this, they know it's not. But at a point in time, all these different religions and things just got screwed up all over Earth. Not screwed up, they just got out of hand. And so they went out and gathered all that shit, sort of like Hitler did. Only Hitler wasn't the one that did it. Everybody else did. And then slowly, because I've talked to a lot of people. I'm not bashing Scottish Rite. I'm not bashing Masonry. I'm just saying I'm calling a spade a spade. If it's black, it is. If it's fucking red spade, it's a red spade. But either way you look at it, we've been fucking lied to. That's my whole point. And if we can't see that, then it's because of this right here. It's because the brain has been destroyed. It all goes back to that shit right there. But Adam Weishaupt, just go over some of the stuff. Unum Sanctum, the Registrar, you'll see some stuff. Myron Fagan, go read some of that guy's stuff and some of his videos, and older videos before they take them down. He'll tell you everything that happened and who's running what and all that shit, because he worked in Hollywood before it was all completely corrupted. And if you break down that video that's hours and hours long, take time and dissect it, you'll go find it. But the whole thing is it's like, you want to go research, you want to go have an orgy, huh? Yeah, orgy. And 99.8 times out of 100, it's orgy time. You know, and then the whole time, them bastards are over this laughing their ass off because it's me and the son of a bitch looking up and laughing back, going, I know, I look stupid. Anyways, I love you. Hell yeah.